And hello everybody, let's fix the camera and get this live stream started. I prepared the design already. Let's open the fitness app Xcode project in Xcode, and let's also open Trello so we can see where we are at. And I have updated the board to reflect our current state because we are working on a database architecture right now for the workout and define columns such as actually tables, and then also a checklist. Say create workout, create exercise, update workout, delete. Well, actually, you can say create, update, delete, read. So basically, CRUD workout, and create, read. Yes. Do we want to update as well? Delete, and then CRUD exercise, basically, like this. So we have the tables, and we want to be able to operate CRUD on them. Let's pop out the chat. AJ, what's up? Hey. And William also. Hey, bro. Good morning, AJ. This is like the core squad assembling right now. USA channel. Hello, dear sir. What's up? Hey. So let me get this link here, the live stream link, and put it into the story because I prepared a story that I want to post right now regarding done. And I also have to get my Dr. Pepper like this, and some arrows to indicate that you can actually swipe up on the story. Like so. So what is today's goal? Today's goal is, if you look at the design, we have this screen. We will add an add button like this, as simple as that, and want to create this kind of screen so we can actually create entries to the database ourselves and not use the mock data that we did in order to test our implementation so far. So now YouTube, and how are you? I'm fine. I just had a huge pizza, some water, and now I need some Dr. Pepper to energize. It wasn't a hint. And let me post that. Posted. You want this? Thank you. Greetings from India. How are you? I'm doing great. How are you guys? How are you, AJ? Are you working on your side project? Are you able to in the morning? So let's see. Let's have a look at our current state of the app. We have to refactor a little bit of code because we just we rushed through some layers in order to make it. Is Michaela there? Oh, hey Martin and Susie. Hey Michaela, you are there. Hey, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. I have seen your story today. I think it was today. Was reposted by someone where you were in a car saying, "Hey, what you doing right now?" And you were up to go for lunch, I think, with friends. Okay, So USA has a crucial question: how to start coding. There's I would say, 3-step approach how to get started with coding. Super simple. The first step you want to do is sit down and think what you want to build, because there are plenty of things you can build, and depending on what you want to build, it will kind of lead you into the direction of the language you have to choose. What I mean by building is, for example, a website or a game or an app, and then also is it going to be an iOS app or Android app, or is it going to be coding for Raspberry Pi, for example, some more low-level things. So you have to sit down and define what you want to build. Once you decided on, okay, I feel like I would have most fun in building these kind of things, say a website, then you Google what languages can you use to build that thing. And for website, it's quite obvious it's going to be HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And for that, there are awesome resources at W3 School for free, where you can just literally learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then even React if you go advanced, but this is like too far for you. And then if you say, hey, you want to build actually an app, you can then decide, okay, do you want to go for native iOS? And then it's going to be Swift, just that. If you want to go for native Android, it's going to be Kotlin, just that. If you want to do it for both and you are not really like for native, you can always go for something cross-platform like Flutter, React Native, and so on. And you can find tutorials for free, enough resources for free on the internet to get started, and you just pick a tutorial. But that's the step. Define what you want to do, then look up the language, what you can choose in order to build what you want to build, and then do it. Then sit down, and not like for 3 months, because you will have ups and downs. You have frustrations, moments of frustrations. And the important thing is, once you get frustrated and you have your downs, you have to stick through it, not for the reason to like push through it and then you can say, oh, I've done it. It's because you have to get the feeling of a language, how it feels like when you have good times and bad times. So then when you decide to switch to another language and try another language, you actually also go through a good and bad time in that language too, but then you can compare the good and bad times in both languages and then more properly decide which one you like better. If you always quit the language once you get into a bad time curve, so to say, then you will never be able to actually settle on a language, because you don't know which language you like the best, because all of them were kind of bad, right? You just don't know how bad one was compared to the other. Now, yes, yesterday I went to dinner with friends, also discussed a side project we're working on together. That's cool. Are you working on together, and are you using like a Trello board or something, and then basically everyone just picks a ticket and continues working on it, or how do you do that? Can I just get started with C++? Does it require any special things that one should know? I mean, basics? No, you can just get started with C++. There's even Chernobyl, I think. There's someone on YouTube I could recommend, the Cherno. He has a C++ series. It's all for free. You can always find enough free resources. If you go to playlists for the Cherno C++, I think it's this one. And then welcome to C++, how to set up C++ on Windows, on Mac, on Linux, wherever you want to get started. Awesome, so it doesn't matter. And then how C++ works, how that works, and then it introduces you into the most basic things, variables, functions, header files, and you get advanced, more advanced. And he has plenty of episodes and he's super into it. So you can literally, at some point, I would recommend get some basics in from that. I haven't seen his tutorials. I don't know if he has projects for you to work on, but you should also get then into thinking or into trying to build an own project based on what you've learned alongside the tutorial, not afterwards, alongside. Let's refactor our code. Switch to streaming. And so we have 3 layers. We have the view layer, we have the model layer. In this case, the model layer was going to be our data layer, where we have some number crunching going on, and we have the data layer. What am I saying? View, logic, and data. Business logic is going to be the model, and repository is going to be our data layer. So the data layer has nothing to do else than just persisting and basically reading and giving back data. Nothing more. No logic and no number crunching, no putting things together, whatnot. Just that. Handling the data. The business logic layer is going to be the layer where we have number crunchings. It will just compose all our things we need for the view layer, and the view layer does nothing but request data in its form. It needs it from the business logic. That way we have kind of 2 interfaces, view to business and business to data, and abstracted away the responsibilities of each layers. That makes it easier to maintain and also refactor stuff, and also exchange completely a layer. Yep, Trello is fire. We discussed who's doing what. I'm actually doing the whole iOS MVP because I have a Mac and he doesn't. So he's going to try mapping out the logic and pseudocode while I code. All right, that can work. Thank you so much for your guidance. No worries, USA. You're very welcome. Michaela, what is that project about? Is it something you've talked about on Instagram already, or something new? So we have our workout VC, which is our view layer basically. This one, oh yeah, and the communication between the interfaces is going to be essentially the view layer would always do requests to the business layer and will receive responses from the business layer. And so that's why I started having request response, but the business layer between the business layer and the repository, the data layer, the communication will be model based. So I wonder right now how I could also do request response, but I don't think that makes sense. Would it make sense all that much? No, I don't think so. So each table should have its own model. So let's say repository. Oh yeah, and that's the name class right here, because model here means something else than the model that I have in mind, which is basically a representation. Class representation of a table is to me a model from where I come from. But here model is sort of the same, but also contains the logic. If you have model view model as an architecture, MVVM. Hello, lonely guy from Texas. Hey, not so far off. It's not necessarily new. I've been working on it for a while, but never really post about it on Insta. It was on hiatus, but we're picking it back up. All right, an MVP sounds good as well, because if you say you have been working on it already and you're picking it back up, the first thing that I would think of is, okay, probably because the reason why you stopped working on it might have been because it was too large, but since you said it's an MVP, or maybe you're changing it into an MVP, you're doing already the right thing to not put it down again, I think. Rage Master, how do you stay focused? I just only do what's fun to me. Yeah, that's basically it. So I can stay focused because the things that I do are pure fun and enjoyment. Let me think for short. Workout response in the view makes sense. Normally how I call the business logic layer is going to be dispatcher and not model. So I can actually say we have the controller and we have view, and let's say new file, let's say new group, and then say dispatcher, new group, dispatcher. And workout cell model doesn't really make sense all that much anymore, because all we want to deal with is this is workout model. That renaming worked out. And in the cell is a view workout cell, and the view should never have a model. So this should be based on a request response thing. That means we need a group for request and a group for response. And this is an architecture, a software architecture you can opt in for. It has one drawback, disadvantage, so to say, where since the communication between the interface communication between the different layers are between view and business logic always request response based, that means even if you want to request data that doesn't need any information for the request, you essentially still have to send in an empty instance of request. And the reason for that is it has a reason for the future, for the maintenance of the interface. I can tell you once we get to it, but yeah, sending an empty struct instance of a class doesn't really make sense, right? Why would you send an empty instance of a class in the first place if you don't use it or don't need it? So can I take help from your channel for improving my developing skills? It's not C++ at all. So I mean, all my videos are for free and for free, and like you can use it for whatever you want to, but since it's not C++, I don't see really how you can take advantage of it other than get inspired by how to approach things, because they are translatable into other languages too. So we have our workout VC, we have our, this is going to be not a list of workout responses, but actually a known response itself again too. And what we want to do is we have setup data, right? Setup data gets the database manager and actually requests the list and then puts this. This is nothing we want to do here. How we are getting the list is not up to the workout VC to know about. So we're gonna create a dispatcher and call it workout dispatcher. Now, workout dispatcher needs an instance of repository. Let's see, mock data management, database manager, workout repository. Workout repository is used here for nothing really, creating all tables. So what we want to do is workout repository. This one is allowed to have. And here we can say we want the, I think we need the database. Basically connection. The thing is, no, not really. So on init, what we want to do is say that database manager gets the default. No, not the default. What is the DB? Oh, I think it's private. Didn't we put it? It's private, and we are creating it here. Could make it public. Immutable, and that one does not need to exist. But then we can also not drop all tables. But the thing is, we can pass in DB like this. This should throw. Actually, let it not throw, but say database manager default else workout not get database manager could not get database instance return early. And then here, database manager DB. It doesn't throw, does it? Hey chat, Angel. Hey, hello Martin. Welcome. Hey, good to see you. You say check out the new Boston on YouTube for C++ tutorial. Hey, I didn't know that one. That sounds interesting. AJ, thanks for asking. I'm not working today with my project right now, but I love to work in the morning with you. And sadly, would leave the stream early because I have to go meet someone. No worries. Whenever you have to leave, have fun with that someone. That sounds like fun to me. Workout. Repository. Let's get this one. And then else print return whenever something fails here, because it would throw, we know what it is, and it early returns. And then here we can say workout repository. Now, this should be self. Harsh Dev. Hello Martin, good morning. You're doing it stream only on YouTube or anywhere else? Only YouTube, yes. Exactly. Now, workout dispatcher. We could have made this throw. Throws. Maybe let's do it this way then. Extension, workout dispatcher in I want to call it error, but workout dispatcher error confirms to error. Whoops. Case could not get database manager instance. Case could not get workout repository instance. And then instead of returning only, we just throw could not. Like this. So we have our workout dispatcher. Once we initiate it, we get the reference to that, and since database manager is a class and this one is a class too, it's always the same instance we're working with. It's just a reference to that. And if we make sure that we are operating on the main thread once we are communicating with the database, we shouldn't, I don't think we should run into issues just in case we have like operations like read from workout where the ID is 1, and at the same time like delete the workout where ID is 1 and 2 different threads are running. I don't even see where in the app this should happen because we have always just one step, but still. And it's always going to be from the main thread because you're interacting with the database from the view. So that should be fine. Can you explain what happens throw? I forget. Throw is when you are throwing an error. If you want to throw an error, basically, then because something didn't work out, then you have to define for the function. And it is also just a function, right? Just like any other function. Whoops. Just like, say, this function is also, when this one inside of it uses try, then it can potentially throw, because try means, hey, I'm trying to execute that function, and that function obviously throws because it has a try again, and the sync at some point it should have a call where it says throw something. This one tries, whatever. And at some point it should say throw. This is the very bottom why you use throws as a keyword for your function. So either you do it or you tell that this can do something. So this function could throw because inside we are throwing at some point, and that is when this condition is not true. Or basically if this one is nil, then we're throwing. In that case, this one is true, it throws, and it throws. Which results into that you have to call work, or when you initiate workout dispatcher, you will see that in the workout VC, say here when we want to say workout dispatcher, just an instance of it, workout dispatcher. This won't work just like that. Actor will now complain you have to say try because it can throw. With you knowing it throws, you have to handle once an error occurs. This function here does not say throws. So basically it's not handled, which means you can say do, and this will execute that code right here. And once it throws, you can catch that error, right? And then you can say basically error and let's see how we're You are defining it. I don't remember how you define the variable you are getting for catch, but that's basically how it is, or essentially. Da 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 da. Catch. I actually did that. Why didn't it didn't work? Oh, catch. Do I have to say? No. So you will have to look into how to get the error basically catch. Yeah, it actually says. Oh yeah, so what you can do is say workout dispatcher workout error. If it's this error that was thrown, then please print whoopsie. And if it's another error, could not get a repository instance, then please handle it this way. Hey, yeah. That's it. Now it's handled. Now you are able to call. This should actually be handled. Error throws me because the enclosing catch is not exhaustive. I don't know the case. This is then the generic. So if it's this error, we execute on that code. If it's that error, we execute on that code. If it's anything else, we execute that code. I don't know if that was clear, but we are basically knowing, hey, this should work out, and only then we want to work with it. But in case it didn't work out because this happened or this happened, and then we want to know about it and accordingly act. Say, do a model and say, sorry, we couldn't currently do this and that. Please restart the app or something like this. I get it. Thanks, Martin. You're very welcome. Lol eventually became clear. Okay. Phew. Good, because that was like the try of me on the spot to explain it. So we got the workout dispatcher. It has the workout repository, which should be private, just known by the workout dispatcher. And now this one can, for example, create workout by a create workout request. And the create workout request has a create workout response as an answer. And let's say where is this located? That's located here in repository. Should be up here, and we should need a file here for response. And all this one should include is let workout a workout model, and the workout model has also an ID that's optional. Title, time, exercises. What does it do? It doesn't have that. It has title. The database table has only the title, the ID, and a foreign key. but we will get to that. So right now it's just the title of the workout. That's the model. It's not a view model. Where do we have that? It's down here. Repository. It's just model, workout model. Okay. Now, throw, it's used to throw an exception where you try and catch, block, and create nested try catch or throws dot block. Like simple, we are not catch error while doing like divided by 0, but using try and catch, throw, and find what we can get. Martin is very good instant explainer. Thank you, Harsh, very much. I appreciate it. Okay, so we got our model that represents our table and database, so that when we are, for example, calling the dispatcher to create a workout in the database, all we do is we are now number crunching. Here, workout repository actually insert, and here what we're using is we should use the model, I think. We can do that. So that is not a request, but workout model, or basically just model, and should say that. Row ID, and the insert returns workout model. So we can have workout model instance with the row ID and the model title that we inserted. Like this. Now what we do is workout model. We know that we have to create a model based on, oh yeah, this one has to be default nil. Like this. Self ID is equal to ID, and self title not strings. Let me put the camera like this. I think this is better. Martin, how long have you been using Swift? Since the beginning? No, not since. I mean, the first time I touched Swift was since the beginning, 2014 winter, and I developed my first site runner app based on the inspiration of Flappy Birds. That was the huge hit in 2014. So you could run and then jump between blocks, and that was purely in Swift, and that was super. Like, I learned it and I implemented it super hacky because there were literally no resources on how to do that anywhere on the web. Then I paused until 2016 because I got into an apprenticeship and learned web development, PHP, Scala, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, focused purely on that before I started in 2016 winter again to get into Swift, but server-side Swift in my free time. And then I coded just like 14 hours a day, or maybe even 16 hours. Did all-nighters at work to like completely like 3 years code, just code. And then yeah, from there I got into iOS development because I established like the Swift knowledge and my website and API and backend knowledge, and expanded into iOS land. Felix, hey, we are right now defining our app architecture, or layers, and the interfaces between them, between the layers so I can show you how easy it is afterwards to use all of that once established. So it can look more complicated than it is. I don't really like that this one throws again. We could say throws and then this one try. So we get the basically this is the request, and then we get the persisted thing. So let's say, oh, one sec, we can just insert and just not use the response. Well, let's use the response. So let's say persisted model, it's that, and we can return the create workout response, and that has a workout model. So if we say persisted model, and that's that. So now we can go into our workout VC where we have this kind of thing going on. Oh, this is like list things. All right, we are listing workouts. Let's just implement the listing as well down here. So create a workout list. Let's say list, and then the request should be list workout request and list workout response. I used it already somewhere, and I think I used it in the repository. Insert list, yeah, right here, which we shouldn't. That list could just go like this, and this one should just return a list of workout model. This should be that. Then workout model should include the ID and the title. You can also do this so it's more readable, and return the actual list like that. For workout intro, actually could do it even where's this? This is that. It's one too many, but we could return that and then map. Could even do that. That means we get, and we don't have to do this. So this is our list. And from here we say workout list, workout repository list, and return list workout response that contains the list of, not workout response, but workout model. And that's it. I'm not sure if you said this in an earlier live stream, but are you still going to create a video for your 20-minute workout that you do? I already did. I just didn't release it yet because this should be part of the app at some point. To incorporate it into the app. That's why when I release it, it will have a predefined workout, which is the 20-minute workout. But I also want to at some point update the app and include the video so you can watch it. So we do have that. This should not run because we have an error in the database mock data. That's interesting. Oh yeah, because we cannot create workout request. Let's see. This one says insert for. We can go for workout repository. Model. Now this should still not work because of cell is having issues. Exactly, because we don't have time anymore. So title is gonna be 23 for time, and exercise label is going to be 11. Just mock data first. Workout VC now has issues. Now here it comes. We are requesting the list, and we're also getting the database manager, both of which we don't need to. We can just say the name list should contain a list workout response, or be just a list workout response like that. We can say list workout response an empty list. Let's do this. And all we do is we say workout, oh yeah, this is private, this is also private, let workout dispatcher, does it throw? Yes, it throws. I have to handle it. What if I say that, then it will be an optional. So we can say workout dispatcher. If it's given, please give me the list workout request is an empty request. List value optional list response. Okay. Guardlet dispatcher. Like that. And dispatcher, was it? Dispatcher was nil. Call can throw. God damn it. Right, it can throw. I don't like all these tries that I have to handle them everywhere. What I could have done is just...
Hey. Hey.
for example, at the repository layer, down here, just do a do catch, say do return, like basically that, and catch return an empty, and then just print couldn't get list of workout from the database, and then also like this, because then if I do this, this one doesn't throw, and we don't have to say it throws. Which database are you using? Lol, your poppers are not about this live stream. Yes, I know. I use SQLite, and for that I mean SQLite 3 is like default native that you can use, but I have added one dependency, so I have a nicer wrapper to interact with the database than using the C API that is natively. Okay, this list shouldn't throw anymore. This shouldn't throw anymore either. And that means list workout or workout list. Where are we? Here, and the workout model doesn't include time and exercise anymore. Exactly. Just that. And so now it runs again. Phew, we wrote a lot of code, and hopefully we didn't break anything, and we can still see our, oh, not on my phone. Let's do the iPhone 11 Pro. You can still see the mock data displayed, like a list of workouts. If we do that, if we do see it, everything worked out fine, implementing the whole layers between view, business layer, and data layer. And table workout already exists in create table workout. Dispatcher was nil. See, now we have some information here what happened since we are doing stuff like dispatcher was nil in the workout VC, which is right here, and dispatcher becomes nil when this one fails and this one fails. We could have also have it more verbose, but it fails either for that or that reason. And we know that it tried to table workout already exists, right? So this one, when this one gets initiated, it is creating the table here, but we never dropped the table before. Oh, we did. Workout, drop table, create table. And then we're creating it again. Tries that. Because the thing is, whenever we're instantiating a workout repository, we're creating a table. It's not like something we should do actually. Whenever we get an instance of the repository, we shouldn't actually create new tables. It should have been done before already. Which means on init shouldn't pass in the database this one does that. This one here, we have workout repository. Yeah, drop table, and then we're creating tables right here. Let me think. We should have create table on the creation of that one, if it's existent. Let's get into the SQLite. And see if we have like create table if exists. That's interesting. They're different wrappers even. So if data, what's that? 500. Camembert as cheese, 50. Interesting. This looks interesting. That looks nice. What? There's a dog. This has 2.7 thousand stars. Interesting. Is it having something in? No, anyway, let's not distract from another thing. Is it having features well documented? Where's the documentation then? Okay, installation, getting started, read, write, thread, connecting, building, create table options. Here, if not exists. This is what we want. This is what we need. Users create table. So whenever we are creating a thing, I mean, this is not, we should at some point refactor that, but since we can do this, what do you mean? Oh, whoops. So this should solve our issue. Ta-da! Drop table, create table, create a table. Basically, create table if it didn't exist. Do we have like on complete or something? Run, scalar, step, compact map, contains. Interesting. It has like run has like a db run returns an int or a statement. It's a statement, I think, is it? Returns an array containing the non-null results of calling together transformation feature load of the sequence. Color names, description, no. Well, okay. Why would it say that? Workout table name. Actually, table name should be part of workout model. This is a basically let table name like this, and yes, this should have a table, and drop table if exists, workout model table name, model, and down there workout model, create a table, table name. Alright, so now it should work out, so that's fine. Look how many. Now since we got this one sorted, I wonder, because this is the table, yeah, right, and can I plug it in? I cannot plug it in.
Oh, I thought it was a USB.
It is, but this one is the other way around, so I have to plug it in this way, but I cannot do.
Oh, so stupid.
It is, I know. You can ask Steve or Aggie. They have normal computers. They have still these kind of plugs, USBs. Alrighty guys, now let's keep it like that. I wonder if we should just do all of the public functions into an extension. You know what I mean? So it's easier to maintain. Say, let's see, this is the repository, and we can say workout repository plus public, like this, and then say extension workout repository, and just like this. Okay, so the private, yeah, it's not visible to any of inside an extension. What a pity. Let's leave it like that. Let's go into our workout VC. That's quite some folders for one workout, right? Workout has response, request, dispatcher, repository, model view, and controller. And all of that will be basically repeated for exercise and essentially every table. So going into workout VC, we can go and say set up navigation. Navigation. So what we want to do now is we want to add a button up here similar to the design down here, like this. So right bar button item is going to be a UI navigation bar. One sec. Right bar button item is UI bar button item. Bar button item. That has a title of add, a style of, let's say done, target of self, and then action as well, and we can define mark actions here, like this. Let's say objective, C private, func, add action, right? And here all we can do is calling another view controller, which we'll do here, selector, add action, And let's say we want to have a create workout view controller. So create workout VC, right? Because the create workout VC should look like this. So in here, UI kit, final class, create workout VC, UI view controller, has a private var save area, has a private let title label, and basically that workout name text field, UI text field, view did load, super view did load, private func setup view, and here we could say background is equal to red, just so you can see it works. So that's our simple view controller. We're not using any of these views yet, but add action should say navigation controller push to the create workout VC animated, and we want to have, so I show you what happens. Once we run this, we will have an add button, color blue yet, but once we tap it, we will get forward to this. We can go back here. But we want to have this button here, add button, title, we didn't color to apply to the button item. It's gonna be dimmed, basically custom red, like this. Let's see if we can see our red. There we go, red. Looks good. This is the view where we want to create something, save, and then we get back here and we see it saved. So far, so good. Let's say so many. 7 is fine. Hello again, Miami Web Lab. Hey, welcome to the stream. We're just getting into implementing the UI to create a new workout. We implemented already all layers and all communications to do that, so logic is done. All we have to do now is to map it to the view, so to say. And now let's get to it. Oh, by the way, if you like this stream or the series that I'm doing, don't forget to hit the like button. This helps out on getting a reach for that series, and obviously it's more fun, even more fun if more developers join us to chat about everything code. Also, if you have any feedback, don't hesitate to just provide it at any time, either in the comments or on Instagram through DM. I'm super open to get any kind of feedback you have for improving the series. Into our create workout VC, we want to private func set up the title label, and we can do it side by side with our design. That is what we're going to build now. We we don't need actually this one. Oh, one sec, let me put it a little bit further up because you can barely see it. Else, what happened to my face cam? No one said anything. Why? How? Face cam right here, properties. There we go. Interesting. Cancel. Okay, I had to unplug and plug it in again. Now it's working again. I hope you... So that is what we want to build now. Let's say private func setup navigation, and navigation item title is create. So we say this one. Oh, one sec, it says white. So that means, oh, is it by default white? I don't think so. It's probably not the dimmed white that we're using. So I was adjusting the foreground color like so. Title text attributes. That's it. The background setup view. It's gonna be a dim view and label view, add subview, title, label. Top is title, label, top anchor constraint to the save area top anchor with a constant of say 30 in this case. Leading is constraint to save area leading, and trailing can be trailing save area. Activate all of that. So we are basically saying from top 30, from left be at the save area, right save area, it's fine. Title label dot text, we just say name for now, and then also the text color is gonna be our white, custom white. I have to choose a better name for it. Maybe even the fitness app TFA white. Michaela, gotta go Martin, have a good night. Bye Susie. Bye Michaela. Bye Michaela. Thanks for hanging out and thanks for being our friend, being in the chat and hanging out. USA channel says just period. Okay. Let's do this. Add, and we have title label and subfield. We have an error nil while preserving an optional value. So never set this one. That's important. View layout margins guide. See, and that's why I can force and wrap it up here, because I would have never shipped it. But there is this issue. I have to go to the view to have it crash. So basically, it's not 100% sure. There we have the name. We can also abstract the whole thing into an OMV. We can do that afterwards. But let's say font is going to be system font 26. Or what we can also do is just define a global font struct. So we have a cohesive use of font sizes. Is that too big? I think so. Let's say 24. And now the interesting part would also be the text field to create the inner shadow. Remember? Exactly. It's interesting how this black shadow down here it overlaps the white shadow. Or does it? Yeah, sort of. So the next is gonna be private func setup name text field. I call it workout name. Create workout VC. Should actually just be name text field. Top is constrained to the bottom of the title label. Leading is constrained to the title names leading. And I do that on purpose. If this is constrained to the bottom of name and the leading of name, that means I can show you what that means. Trailing is going to be save area trailing, and height, say height a constant of 40. Activate top leading trailing height, and let's also give it a background so we can see something. Let's say red. That allows us, if I go to add, we're not setting it up, set up name text field. If I go to here, this is a text field. If I click into here, I can literally type something in, right? But why I constrain this leading to that leading is once I'm changing the title names, a title label leading anchor, I don't have to care about the text field because it is constrained to the title names. It will just go with it. Once I change that one and it's leading definition, the text field will just follow. And that's why I like to do that. Give that, say, connection. Okay. Now, text field, layer, corner radius 10, I think. We'll have to see that one. The cell, workout cell. The container view has, oh yeah, container view is an on container view. It has a corner radius of 10. All right. Now, there we go. The height should be a little bit more if we compare to the design, like almost 33%, which means 60. Better. Okay, and the top can be, say, 10 to the name. So we have our little spacing between them. Good. The name itself should then actually be bold, since the text itself should be light. Right, so you can say name and you have the light. We need also 2 buttons, private, let cancel button, UI button, and private let save button, like so. And then we can say private func setup cancel button, same for save. We can actually put them into a stack view. And then have them equally distributed so they are, you know, in the center of both, always. Let's do that. But we do have what I already know is I'm gonna reuse that for this one, cancel save, and that means we can abstract it away into an own view with an own behavior. So yeah, so what we can do is this is for me fun. If you abstract away, let's go into view and say, oh, it's actually a general view. So maybe you, so save cancel buttons, right? Save cancel buttons. And what we say is UI kit, final class, save cancel button. It has these buttons, but also a stack view, private let stack view stack UI stack view, like so, and on init, whoops, UI view, on init super frame setup view. So what we're going to do is we're going to define a view that will makes it easy to just display these and also implement it. So this view gives us the possibility to act as a result of hitting one of the buttons. So once a button is hit, we want to act, but not within here because this is abstracted away. We want to act within the view controller, and for that we're going to implement our own delegate behavior, just like table view works. Which means we will get to that, but for now we can say setup view. That is going to view, add subview, basically just add subview, stack view. Stack view distribution fill equally, and I think the axis is by default already horizontally. So func setup cancel button, and I set up the cancel button first because from left to right horizontally, this is how we will add our view, stack view, add arrange subview, which is then cancel button, And the same happens to the save button. And we can set up cancel, set up save. We can now say that the cancel button should have set title, say cancel for normal, and then also cancel button, set title color to custom red for normal. And do all of that as well for the save button. That is going to be custom green, which we don't have yet. So let's say red for now, or let's say custom white. We'll fix that in a second. Save button, set title, save. Now let's go into our colors and get the save color. Oops. Which is custom red. Custom green. And it's 44. Oh, that's funny. It's just an exchange of those two, and then 100 in the end. So custom green, and we can also say that the stack view has a default height. Oh, basically no, it doesn't have a default height. Let's say private func setup stack view. Whoops. It is actually I wonder. So stack view, translate author size false, top, just fully fill the view with the stack view. Trailing, that's that. So it's fully filled. The whole view is fully filled with that. And this layout, activate all of it. Like so. Set up stack view, set up view, and the height of it is gonna be interesting. If the label, since labels are having an intrinsic height due to their font sizes, that should translate into the stack view, telling them what height it is, and this stack view has constraint to the super view, which is the save cancel view, and that should then also have, or actually end up having this kind of height and width. These should also be pretty close then next to each other. We will see that. Let's see. Now we have both of that. So then set up save cancel buttons, set up view, add subview, private, let save cancel buttons. Oh, I just called it button. Okay. And now bottom constraints to the save area, bottom, and center X should be safe. Save area, center X. Let's see. How this will end up looking. If anything at all. Add. There we go. As you can see, we didn't define any heights or widths yet. We'll see both of them here having their own height and width based on their font sizes. And what we can do from here is say save buttons, bottom, center X. We can instead say, hey, have rather the leading like that. Save cancel buttons leading, anchor is constrained to that bottom, and then trailing. So then it's gonna be from left to right, and they should be then centered. We'll see that. The fonts I didn't center yet are the labels, but we'll do that. Save cancel buttons trailing, constraint to save area trailing, and then NS layout constraints activate. We do have that down there. Now we can say leading, bottom, trailing, and if we run that again, now it should spread them both, but not symmetrically. Oh, actually it does. So we have them both left and right, like so. And now we can just leave it as is here, and we just go into our save and cancel button, and we are adjusting how they should look like down here. Let's say cancel button font, set title label, font is going to be bold, system font of size 32. Same for save button. And okay, that's a bit too much. 28 then. But you can already see how close we're coming to our design. Still a little too large. 26 it is then. Are we having 26 for that too? Or was that? Workout, great, workout VC. This one 24, I see. 26, why does this one seem so large to me? Okay, they don't do anything yet, but we can change that. By, and now comes the fun part. Saying that we have two actions: private func cancel action, and it has to be an Objective C, and we can say cancel button at target self selector cancel action for touch up and site, and same goes to save button, except that it says save action, and we have a vector private func save action down here. And now we can just show you cancelled let's say x, whoops, that this actually works. Now when we say cancel, you should look at the console down here. Here, if I say cancel, it says cancelled. If I say save, it says save. So this is executed now. What we want to do is when we cancel, we want to push into the view controller where we came from without doing anything. If you say save, we want to persist whatever was typed in here, and then get back to our view controller and also reload the table so it fetches again from the database. First thing is we can say we can create a protocol that says save cancel button delegate, and that protocol describes what the class that conforms to that protocol should implement, which means we can essentially say func on cancel and func on save, and we can say this one expects to have a delegate which is optional, which conforms to save cancel button delegate. And now we can say here in the cancel action, if let delegate, so in case it's not nil, please execute the on cancel on it. Since we know this type has a function on cancel, we can call on cancel on it. Save applies, same applies to the save on save, and then if cancel action is clicked, it should call on cancel. If save action is clicked, it should call on save on delegate. What we can do now is in create workcode VC, we can say extension create workout VC conforms to save delegate, and now we have to implement both functions, which are on cancel, for example, navigation controller pop view controller true, and print say persisted to database, like that. Now we just conformed to that and defined the function implementation for on cancel on save, but we didn't tell save cancel button yet who's its delegate. We have to say save cancel button delegate is us, and we can do that because us is of type save cancel button delegate along other types. Now if we say add, we can cancel and it pushes back because this was executed. If we say add and save, it says persisted to database. This one is executed. So that means we can now work from within our VC with that view conforming to its delegate protocol. That also means we can reuse that, and for example, cancel for this view means pop to that view controller. Save means please persist to the workout table, right? But if we are going to reuse that view for exercise, then save means something else, right? And that means in the create exercise VC, we are also conforming to that delegate and implement the on save button differently. It's still the on save button that's going to be called, but it's a different implementation for that view, and that way you can reuse the view and have a different logic executed. Okay, I think that's a good portion of code we have written. Especially, I'm super happy about this reusable view now that also has its logic in place to be reusable. So guys, I'm gonna end the stream right here, and hopefully see you tomorrow when we are finishing this one and continuing with the next view. Until then, thank you so much for hanging out and listening to me. I hope I see you tomorrow, and again, if you have any feedback or suggestions, just let me know. And if you like this kind of series, hit the like button. Have a good night and a good day. Bye.